Okay, so this is your box plot, or as I call it, box and whisker plot. So to do these, you have to know certain vocab words when it comes to box and whisker plots. So minimum is the smallest number. It's at the end here. Maximum is at the end here. Whisker are those lines. This is your third quartile, first quartile, and then your median is also called your second quartile, is in the middle. Okay, and your interquartile range is the box. Okay, so range is your maximum minus your minimum. Okay, so you take your maximum and you subtract your minimum. Your interquartile range is this minus this. So your third quartile minus your first quartile. Okay. So again, yeah, I forgot to say this, but this is on your foldable. Miss Kelso and Mr. Bonham gave each of their students a small bag of colored tiles. The students each counted the number of tiles they received. The box plots display the data for both classes. Which statement is best supported by the information in the box plots? A, the range. So let's find the range first. So range, you're going to take your biggest number, which is right here, 17, minus your smallest, which is 5. So 17 minus 5 is 12. Okay. You're going to do the same thing for Mr. Bonham's. This is 16, and that's 6. So 16 minus 6 is 10. So the range for Mr. Bonham's is 10, and the range for Mrs. Kelso is 12. So is 10 less than 12? That's true. So A is correct, but let's just prove B, C, and D. B, Mrs. Kelso's class is more symmetrical than Mr. Bonham's. So if I draw a line down the middle of Mrs. Kelso's and Mr. Bonham's, Mrs. Kelso is not symmetrical, but Mr. Bonham's is. So B is wrong. C says the median for Mr. Bonham is less than the median for Mrs. Kelso. So Mrs. Kelso's median is 10, Mr. Bonham's is 11. So I'd write 11 right here and 10 next to Mrs. Kelso. So is 11 less than 10? No, it's not. So it's wrong. D, the interquartile range. So we're going to find the interquartile range. So the way we do that is you find the IQR. It's called the interquartile range. This is a shorthand version. So you need to take your third quartile, which is right here. And that's, let's see, draw a line. So it'd be 13. And then the first quartile, which will be right here, is 8. So you're going to do 13 minus 8, which is 5, for Mrs. Kelso. And then you're going to do Mr. Bonham, which will be 14 minus 8, which is 6. So Mrs. Kelso's interquartile range is 5, and Mr. Bonham's is 6. So is 5 greater than 6? No, it's not. So the answer is A, and we proved it. All right, so that's a box and whisker plot. You have homework, which is 2 questions and a vocab paragraph. The vocab paragraph will be the vocab you can use is on your foldable. Thank you, guys.